cut sideways. This is the striatum. So we have our striatum here. So we have our chordate of putamen. All right, this side's just chunked out, so it's gone. All right. Oh my God, this is hysterical. So this is the septal nucleus, but it's totally crooked. There's part of the septal nucleus at the end. Yeah, I could use a different brain. All right, and there's the corpus. Yeah, I'll use the other brain. Oh, excuse us. Can you use our... Oh, it is pretty.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So here is the septum, the beginning of the septum right here. All right. Now you haven't got to the corpus callosum, but here it is. So here's the lateral ventricle, the septal nucleus here, the corpus callosum going across here. And then in a minute, you're going to see the internal capsule, which we'll flip this one around. You'll see the internal capsule coming in a second. Again, corpus callosum here, septum. Your globus pallidus is on the next one here, out here. But this is a little crooked, but you can see how it's striated here. This is your striatum, your corpus striatum. All right. If we flip it over here, we get a little bit further back here. As you go further back, you'll see you go from narrow. This will fade up, the striatum, and then the septum, excuse me, and then become the fornix. So as you see here, it starts to look at those feet that spread out, and this will move up. So, and here it is here. Oh, you got a beautiful, this is the anterior commissure. Oh, this is beautiful. See this right there?
You're welcome.
That's the anterior commissure right there. So right there, ladies, see that? That's the anterior commissure right there. See that right there? That little white line that goes here? That's the anterior commissure. Here's the corpus callosum again. All right? Now, as you get further back, see this? I'm moving the septum. It'll start to become the fornix. This is a little bit too much of a chunk here. Oh, look at all the choroid plexus. That's beautiful. That's all choroid plexus, all right? The choroid plexus is primarily found in the lateral and the third, a little bit in the fourth, all right? So we have our striatum. There's all here striatal tissue. We have the chordate and the putamen, and you can see the striations in it. The globus pallidus is out here. This is cut slightly crooked. You can see how it's cut crooked here, all right? So that's fine, though, but it's much better than the other person's. And then this other one, and the one, see the white matter comes down here? This is called the internal capsule. So this white matter here is internal capsule, all right? Now, as you get further down, as I told you, the hippocampus is bent like this. So you can see it's crooked here because here's a whole hippocampal flexure, and here is just the top of the hippocampus. See that? And then the bottom down here. The hippocampus is shaped like this, coming out at us. So you usually see the bottom first, and then the top here. And then eventually, as you get further back, you see the whole flexure. So this one's cut slightly. This is more back further. This is caudal, and this is more rostral. We turn it this way, you can see, I'll get the choroid plexus out of the way. So you see the whole fornix here. So this is like the fornix sticking up here. But now at this point, you're getting to the beginning of the thalamus. This side, you see the thalamus right here, and the hypothalamus, because you can see the hypothalamic sulcus here. This one's still the striatum, because as I said, it's cut like this. See how this one's much further back? So it's kind of cut crooked like that. It looks straight enough, but it's good enough. All right. Here's our optic chiasm, which is nice. So that's knowing, let me know too, that I'm getting up to the level of the thalamus, hypothalamus on this side. Now, if we go to this side, the one part that's cut crooked, you clearly now can see the thalamus here, and this imaginary line here is the hypothalamic sulcus, and then the hypothalamus down here. Same thing back here. You see the third ventricle right here. So there's our third ventricle. All right, and then here you're starting to get to the point where you're getting the beginning of our pineal gland, which on this brain, if you dug in here, is still cut further back. Here's the rest of the pineal right here. So that's the pineal gland right there. And if you go a little bit further back, you see right here a little bit of, on this side, you're a little bit further, actually here you have a better view. See how this is pigmented, this tissue here? That's the substantia nigra. So when we talk about the substantia nigra in Parkinson's, I say, this is it right here. See how it's pigmented compared to this is light and that's dark? It has melanin granules in it. Here you only have a little bit because it's cut sideways, but that's the pineal gland. All right? Here's the end of this is going to the cerebral aqueduct right there. So that's the cerebral aqueduct, that little hole. And around it, you have this gray. It has this gray appearance. That's called the periaqueductal gray. Around the aqueduct is that gray. That's what I talked about in class today, about that conscious state. That's that area there. We can cut this one more time with this knife. It'll fall apart, but that's all right. I'm cutting it crooked too. That's a great job. And this knife needs a sharpening. got to get a new knife at Walmart or something. All right, so here is the cerebral aqueduct right there in the hole, right? And what you start to see there is on both ends here, on top of this, underneath the superior colliculi, right here and here is the dorsal raphe nucleus. That's where I talked about serotonin in class. So that's there, right in that area. I think that's good for this one. What about the horizontal one? Did you cut that one?
So I told us not to.
Oh, he's a bitch. All right, I'll cut it. Cut one of them. Make it cut one of them. We got to keep one intact. Oh, that's on tape. Shit.
No, I stopped it before you
Oh, good.
Mine's like when I got 2 cameras going.
Good.
Yeah, I'm recording behind you.
I wish I had it on tape though. It's pretty funny.
All right. All right. Why I love this is, this we already talked about. I'm going to move this so I don't stick my arm in it. This we talked about last week. All right. We have our lateral ventricle are beautiful here, right? So we have here's the fornix, here's the corpus callosum up here, all right? So we have the optic chiasm right there, all right? Here is our thalamus right there. That's the thalamus, hypothalamus. This is the superior and inferior colliculi, so superior, inferior, right? Here is our cerebral aqueduct. This is beautiful. Look at that cerebral aqueduct going down into the fourth. The fourth is this triangle right here going into the thing. But this is the aqueduct. Isn't that beautiful? I think it's beautiful, but it's nice. And then you can actually see, because the spinal cord's cut in half here, so you can see the central canal. So how the fourth goes into the central canal. So that's very nice. I like that one. And if we flip this, oh, you can see the beginning of the hypothalamus. So here's the hippocampus, excuse me. Here's the hippocampal flexure up here. And here's the striatum. So that internal capsule, see the striated tissue? See how it's striated here? See all the crossing, the striations? So that's the striatum that we looked at really up in the front. In one of these guys up here, the striatum. It's right here. So all those fibers are running from the midbrain all the way up and crossing up into here. And that's what they have, that striatum there. All right? What else do we have on this one? Nothing there. There's the pineal gland. There's the pineal gland, and there is the superior and inferior colliculi. So superior and inferior, that was one of the questions on the lab there, why they different sizes. All right, so the superior is much bigger than the inferior, all right, related to that. So that's what we have on those ones on the side. I didn't cut it too nice either. Here is the other piece. Here's the hippocampus up here and the hippocampus down here. Now, the best way to view the hippocampus, I always was told by a professor, is to cut it horizontally like this, and then you can see the whole corkscrew. But the problem is, to get a whole brain, just to do that, we see everything we need here. So here's the top that we saw before and the bottom. The part I like about this is when you look at the tissue here, all right? And we look at our brain was sitting like this, the temporal lobe here. You could see the hippocampus, how the bottom comes out first. So here, see the bottom here? And then, remember I said it cups like this when you cut it? It had that cup like that. So you see the bottom first here, and then the top is set back a little bit. And then if we cut back a little further, we would have saw the flexure, the whole flexure here. All right? It actually goes out to the temporal lobe, out over so it's out here some. Like, oh, I don't see it there. I cut too far. If I cut this down the middle, you'd see it more right in there. All right? I think that's all we got on these ones.